It doesn't ring too close to some people. It's a simple example. There's 2-year age gap, let's say. That decision, by the way, is not cognitive. He doesn't realise. Does anyone actually remember here when they decide to be different to their sibling? Yeah? Some people tell me they do. Most people don't seem to recognise it. They don't know that they've done that until it's pointed out to them. And they just notice they're different. But some people consciously. So the kid's getting attention for being incompetent. Now, the sad part about this is his father's saying things like, "You're not concentrating, George. You're not even trying. Just look at the work. It's not that difficult, you know. It's really not. You could do this if you try." And things which will actually damage his self-concept in an attempt to help him motivate him, because he thinks he's the normal kid, you see, so he's trying his best. And it would work with an A, B or C. But this kid already feels he's incompetent, so now he's being told he's incompetent. But he's being told for a whole hour. So the theory says, and I'll give you an example that came out, I don't know if I told you this one, came out of the 30 visits that I just did. Did I tell you the story of Sam? Fascinating story, a kid in grade 1, 2, I think. And he was interviewed, and we said, you know, do you behave well? He said, sometimes. Oh, okay, so sometimes you don't. Sometimes. Oh, why is that? Teacher won't know my name. What do you mean? Oh, the teacher goes, Sam, 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 Sam. And he had all this intonation stuff, and then he just took and looked at me and smiled, you know, as if he'd explained everything. So what did he explain? He'd explained Dreiker's theory. If I behave normally, I'm not as good as a good kid, so I'm going to be invisible. Whereas, if I do some of these things, she calls my name, she knows me. I'm alive, I'm here. And he actually gave one of the first premises that they'll move from positive attention-seeking behaviour to negative, just like that. They don't care. Now, has anyone had a kid who was really bad at school, and when you spoke to the parents, they didn't know what the hell you were talking about because the kid was an angel at home? Okay, the theory will say, of course. You know what it means, of course. It means there's someone badder than the kid at home. So feel sorry for the parent. Because, in other words, they can't get recognition by being bad at home. It's already been taken, that position. So instead, they're being really good at home to get recognition. But I don't care what they have to do. It's all recognition, which is really what these ones want. The form of recognition is just attention. They just want attention. They're easy, but they're not easy. But they just want attention. That's all they want. They want to be noticed. That's what this kid wants. They want to be noticed. And at some point, they may be not noticed. They will become invisible. And that's something they cannot tolerate. No one can.
I think quite often some of the students, behaviour is just attention seeking. But are you saying that it's not good to give them any attention then for that behaviour?
You're better off saying, I know why you're doing that. Yep. We'll come to what you do in a minute, because there are things you can do. I can say to the kid, when you do that so I'll recognise you. You know what, I'll give you 8 recognise me tokens. When you feel the need, put one on your desk, I'll come over and I'll chat you up. And if you haven't used any, I'll buy them back at $1 each. You know, you'll think of clever ideas, which puts it all out there on the table and puts the kid in a difficult position. And teachers are doing this, you know, they're using their creativity. That was not my idea, that was the teacher's idea. She took the principle, wants recognition, getting it for the wrong thing. How can I give it to the least disruption to the class and still give the kid the recognition he needs? He's still a sick puppy, inverted commas, he's been damaged. We'll fix him by making him feel better about himself, modify his work, modify assessment, do whatever we have to do. But in the meantime, at least he won't feel worse about himself because I won't criticise him. And in case he wants to spend all his tokens, I'll buy them back and see what control he really does have. That's why I said to someone before, pay the kid $5, get him to behave for half a day so you can say, you can choose. In other words, at the moment, they think it's inevitable that they have to behave this way. They see no way of behaving any other way. because their needs are being met. So if you can bribe them and they're not too deeply in there, then you will show them that they don't have to be in there. It's very, very sort of deep in a way. So the analysis says everybody wants to belong. There's not one person in this room that does not want to feel good and part of it. So, you know, hermits, it's hard to explain. So the theory doesn't seem to explain everybody by any stretch of the imagination, but that's what they say. And it's true for most people. They want to be in a part of a social setting. They don't care necessarily if it's the productive or the unproductive one, the good kids or the bad kids, football team or, you know, maths advanced group. They still want to belong somewhere. Now, this is a theory. These difficult kids don't think they're acceptable. That's the theory. They just don't think they're acceptable. And they've got reasons, usually wrong. They think their mothers don't like them. Wrong in most cases. Their mothers do like them. But they think they don't. And most second children think that their mothers like them less than first children think their mothers like them anyhow. Because, you know, what's not to like if you're a firstborn? You're really useful, you're nurturing, you're helpful. So they pick up a pattern of behaviour. Some are fit in here, some fit in there, some fit in there. And they will fit into these 4 categories. Do you know such people? Who can recognise somebody without even saying too much more than just, yeah, I recognise somebody in my school? Hopefully a student, not a staff member. Well, there are Ds among the staff. All right. Now, the question for you on your table is, in your very own school, what happens in a day in the life of one of these kids that may discourage them, that may make them feel less than adequate? What happens? Write down a list of things that you think might discourage them. What are the sources of discouragement for these kids? Could we get rid of some of them? So I've done this once for half a day. We haven't got half a day, so I'm going to give you only 5 minutes to list these things that you think, and then tick the ones you think you might be able to modify tomorrow in some way. But it can include lunchtime. It doesn't only mean what teachers do to them. It could be what other kids do to them. It could be what they're being asked to learn, the way they're being, anything. So write down, make a list. Someone on each table become a recorder. And while you're doing that, I'm going to come around and collect those questionnaires, if I may, because I'm going to try and get them punched up immediately.